opening bell. This is the show. Welcome to it. I'm Temple Ashaju, Bosun Omofaye, our executive editor here at Frontier Africa Reports, here to serve us breakfast this morning again. Bosun, thank you for coming through. Let's kick in with the markets, where Nigeria was down negative by some 10 basis points, or yesterday, the previous trading session. The BRVM Stock Exchange, very positive, 0.91% on Monday. The Egyptian Stock Exchange was negative, 0.47%. And in Kenya, we got a jump, a serious jump, 3.89% to T of the week. And in South Africa, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange opened the week, had a slow start by some 28 basis points. That's for Monday data. Let's look at what the East African headlines look like for us today. And just a minute. We have StanChart Kenya, that's a profit jumping by 19% to 2.39 billion Kenyan shillings in the first quarter of the year. Absa Kenya Group has its first quarter net earnings climbing by 28% to 2.4 billion shillings. Kenya Tea Auction records increase in prices to $1.84 $1.84 per kilogram. I beg your pardon there. Kenya's diaspora remittances was also positive, rising to around was not positive actually. It was actually rising to $300 million, or around 32.4 billion Kenyan shilling in the month of April, and that's like a serious expansion there. Mumias Sugar Company gets lifeline as 8 firms submit bids. Kenya's first quarter trade deficit widens by 28% from a year ago. Bosun, you have these headlines to help us understand.
Yes, I'm just going to touch on very quickly on the markets that you talked about earlier, the Kenya Nairobi Securities Exchange. That big jump that you saw yesterday in terms of the all-share index was on the back of the Safaricom consortium winning that license, $850 million license, the telecom license in Ethiopia. The whole Kenyan market went go haywire yesterday, and you know Safaricom accounts for about 50% plus of the total market cap of the equities markets in Kenya. So to that extent, it was a whole lot of story. And the market just went gaga. The price of Safaricom, as expected, by the way, you pay $50 million, your share price got to move. The market's got to reward you. And investors will be looking at, okay, so we've got the second most populous country in Africa under our belt, which is after Nigeria, that's Ethiopia. So doing business in a country of about 110, 120 million people is a whole big business. If you're taking M-Pesa there and a few other, there'll be some competition there. But whatever it is, it's a very good addition to the portfolio of Safaricom. That's why the equities market went very strong. StanChart profit after tax 19% to the upside. I think they were seeing a better first quarter numbers for Kenyan banks than we saw a major downside for full year 2020. Diaspora remittance is about $300 million in 1 month. Look, I love the Kenyans for loving their homeland and sending money back home fast and furious. I love that, and I think they should just keep it up to $300 billion. That's a whole lot of money. Let that go through the central bank, for example, through the official sources or official route, and then you're in good business. It's good. This money will go to SMEs, go into some other funding of informal sector economy. A few of it will get into the formal sector, but overall, it will help Kenyans who are trying to cope with the bitter effects of COVID-19 lockdown, which they had last year. Nairobi, about 4 or 6 other counties around are still under some form of restrictions as well. Folks' lives and livelihood have been impacted negatively. They need this money from their brothers, their sisters, their parents, and cousins and nephews, whatever, overseas. That's good news. Mumias Sugar is a resurrection time, and I love this story because Mumias Sugar is this big sugar company, iconic brand in Kenya, ran down totally to ground zero. Now, this Indian or Lebanese guys who is into steel making got these 8 companies together to come in and take over Mumias Sugar, which is a listed company. That is a big news, as it were. And I love the policy that the Kenyatta administration came with a couple of months ago. I think that would be sometime last year, about reviving about 6 or 8 national sugar companies, refineries that the Kenyan has, and that is all part going to boost agriculture, reduce Kenya's imports of sugar, refined sugar as it were, and begin to focus more locally. That is good news. We're trying to do a bit of that also in Nigeria with about 2 or 3 major sugar refiners on the ground. Kenya has about 8, and they've all gone aground as state-owned enterprises. Now the administration of Kenyatta is reviving them, and I think we should give that a lot of kudos. The deficits in first quarter of about 28% year on year shows that all is not too well with the fund financing, by the way. So you got the World Bank money, you got the IMF money coming through to Kenya. I think that $410 million from the IMF should be around the corner anytime soon, if not this month, maybe sometime in June. That will help the administration to move on in terms of its fiscal balance. Thank you.
And that will bring about some liquidity for that market. Thank you very much, Wilson. West African and Nigerian markets headlines now, where Africa Risk Capital Mission Team is in Nigeria to discuss strategy program, etc. You have tepid April inflation, sluggish first quarter GDP, and of course the MPC meeting holding today. Those are some of the key factors, macroeconomic variables that will be determining or shaping the direction of the decision of these MPC members today. BUA Cement lists on 115 billion naira Series 1 fixed rate bond on the FMDK platform. Unlisted pharmaceutical company Micure Industries lists 3 billion naira bond on Nigerian exchange. Custodian Investment gets the nods to buy some 34.41 million naira UPDC shares. Securities and Exchange Commission Ghana unveils capital market master plan tomorrow. Bosun, it looks like this UPDC deal is never ending.
Well, what happened here is that, and I got to get a whole lot more about that story, was that, USN is spinning off 61% to Custodian Investment, and that's been sealed. Now, what they're going for right now is this extra 34 million or so is from minority shareholders. So to all intents and purposes, it looks like they got 61% from USN, which is the majority shareholder or owner of UPDC, the real estate company, and they want a bit more. So at the end of it, USN will hold a very small minority stake. Most likely it's going to be around 10%, most likely less than 10 or something like that. Then they've gone ahead to the SEC to say, look, we want more in this company. Can we buy that from the minority shareholders? And I get the okay from the regulator to say you can pick it up. And I think that's just what they have done with that 34 million, because I was surprised when I saw the news and I thought the other deal was already done, but it looks like they said they want additional shares, looking at the future of real estate. Again, if you look at real estate in Nigeria with the cement industry, with the government moving ahead with the housing project, with the move to try to rebrand Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and the National Housing Fund and all of that, the housing deficits in Nigeria, is still a whole lot out there, Temple, that we can do with housing. So I think this is one good deal that Custodian Investment is pursuing. And let me go straight to our friends in Kenya. I don't want to miss that story because it's a very big one with the master plan today. Today is the day. It's going to be at Lombardi Hotel by the beach. Very nice hotel in Accra, downtown by the beach. Very big hotel. That's the venue where the SEC will be unveiling this master plan, a capital market master plan. It looks like the master plan that Nigeria unveiled under Aroma Hotel, the 10-year master plan, which was unveiled about 5-6 years ago, which is almost running out, has a year or two more thereabout to run out. So Ghana is doing this 2020, 2030, 29. So it's going to be a 10-year plan as well. So we're going to see what the detail is all about. Tomorrow we'll hear a lot more about that. We'll talk about it here, but it's a very big event. And I think it's a good one. It shows that, look, the Ghanaians are moving in every corner. They're moving all the pieces together in terms of trade, AFCFTA, this, that, they're just moving everything together and putting the structure that will make that country the gateway to the rest of the West African country. And Nigeria should just take note of what is happening behind the border. And I think they should. Nigeria should pay attention to that. The ARC is a very interesting story about the Africa Risk Capacity Group. You know, this is a specialized agency in terms of disaster risk management created by the African Union some years ago. So what they do is to intervene when you have natural disasters that impact agriculture or food production. So whether it is fire or drought or the kind of drought you had in Zimbabwe just last year or 2 years ago, and then you find a locust invasion in East Africa, Kenya, and a few other countries about a year or two ago as well. So the ARC moved in there and worked with the private sector, worked with the private insurance companies, okay? Insurance companies on the ground and the government. So today we spoke with Ndlovu, who is the CEO. They arrived in Nigeria on Sunday. They had a meeting with the Commissioner of Insurance yesterday. I think that with Thomas, who is the head of Commissioner for Insurance. Then today the meeting with the Central Bank of Nigeria, the meeting with the Minister of Finance, the meeting with a few other stakeholders, and try to turn up a second program for Nigeria and strategies and look at what kind of disaster will Nigeria be facing in terms of agriculture and what have you, and if that, what can be mitigated. He spoke to me and he mentioned something around $30 million US being the size, as it were. We'll get more details of that tempo at the end of the 3-day meeting, which ends on Wednesday. We should get a communique from them Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday. That will be also to be here on Frontier Africa Report. So we're following that development very closely. And for BUA Cement, I know you know what that means. It's the biggest chunk of thing. 200 billion is the total package. I think Dangote Cement did 150 billion. MTN did about 100 billion. So this is the largest and the first of BUA Cement coming to the market. I think BUA Cement has finally established itself as the second player in Nigeria, and maybe it's gone in for number one. Who knows? But why not buy number two when you can be number one then?
Absolutely. After all, the competition is there.
Why be number two when you can be number one?
I agree. Let's move on. South African headlines. Business liquidation in South Africa rises to 55.3% between January and April 2021. Absa Group in plans to sell asset management units to insurer Sanlam and of course ARC, that will be Africa Rainbow Capital. Barlow World first half 2021 revenue was up by 6.5% to 28.6 billion rands with robust cash balance of some 8.3 billion rands. NAMPAC half-year profits differ by at least 20% from 31st of March 2020. And you have the CBZ Holdings to list on Victoria Falls Stock Exchange in the US. Bosun.
You know, I love the Southern African story for a number of reasons. But I'll start from the Commercial Bank of Zimbabwe, which is the CBZ Holdings, which is the holding company for that bank, like your FBN Holdings and your Stanbic IBTC Holdings here in Nigeria, listing on the new Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. I think finally they're beginning to get companies in to come into the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, which was an offshoot of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, although they said this is the private sector owned. The whole issue around when the stock exchange in Harare was shut down sometime last year for a couple of weeks. The Victoria Falls Exchange is where you have the CBZ Holdings is going there. You'll find the old mutual, the good old mutual, going also there, and a few others as well. But bad news for South Africa has to do with business liquidations, and that's you just put that straight to the pandemic. 55.3% rise in business liquidation between January and April this year. This is just all about the fallout from the last year's pandemic and the impact on businesses in South Africa, and folks are just queuing up and filing for liquidations. What this will mean for South Africa's, for South Africa's job market. You know, right now, South Africa is north of 33% in terms of unemployment. The blacks, the majority of that, the chunk of that number. So with liquidations rising, where will jobs come from? Surely for the best, will it create more tension? Will it create unrest, social unrest? Will it create more crime in South Africa? That is something that the authorities will have to think through very quickly and see how that can be mitigated. And then you find the Absa Group, which is selling that asset management unit to Sanlam, which is, look, if you don't know how to do it well, just give it to your next guy who knows how to do it well, and get out of those wranglings and issues around that asset management that Absa Group talked about, or Absa Bank talked about some time ago. And NAMPAC, which is, I think that's a company that is involved in packaging business. I think we had NAMPAC in Nigeria at some point listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange back then. I'm not too sure where they're still in the country. They're into packaging, like Studio Press and the rest of them, doing packaging and what have you. Some of them also produce industrial goods for end users like beverages and alcoholic and alcoholic companies. So that's what NAMPAC is into, by the way. So, but again, the numbers are coming through for the first quarter, second quarter outlook, and all of that. Yes.
Thank you very much, Bosin. Now, the North African markets, where Sheni Egypt reports net profits of 3.277 million Egyptian pounds in the 7 months of financial year 2020-2021. Ferrous Research sets EG Bank Fair new price. And of course, Sodiq is to distribute cash dividends of some 55 pence per share on June the 9th. Fori gets FRA go ahead to offer some 763,646 shares. Holmarcom buys majority stake in Kenya insurance firm Monarch. You have Managem Group recording some 14% rise in turnover of 1.25 billion dirhams in the first quarter of this year. Quite a number of corporate stories here, Bosun.
Well, it's all temple, you know, is any season, not just in Nigeria, where you are in Europe or in UK and in Europe, it's also about the earnings season. In the US, the earnings seasons are still on, as it were. It's not going to be over until sometime in June, and then you can draw cutting on that. So across the various jurisdictions, including frontier market, you see the numbers are coming through, whether you're paying dividends. Some of them are late filings from 2020, by the way. But the news around the Holmarcom buying the Kenyan insurer Monarch is one interesting story, to the extent that, look, the Alliance guys came from Switzerland and they picked up about 5, okay, or thereabout, or about 5 or 6 insurers in Kenya under the same umbrella. That happened, that deal hasn't even dried up yet. Then here comes the Egyptians. The whole idea is that, look, the whole across the desert down to sub-Saharan Africa business venture, consolidation, expansion of footprint is beginning to happen. And I'm loving the whole African continent a lot more, because we now see the Egyptians, the Moroccans, not just contented with their age-long relationship with Europe, mainland Europe, I mean, but also now extending towards sub-Saharan Africa. And I think this handshake across the Sahara is just the best thing that we are seeing in recent times. We want to see, like you have EFG Helms now in Nigeria, for example, which is also from Egypt, which is a financial services firm. They do insurance, they do brokerage, and a few others. Look, I want to see, and I want to see the Egyptian Commercial Bank in Lagos. I want to see Commercial Bank of Zimbabwe open shop in Lagos. I want to see Nigerian First Bank in Zimbabwe, vice versa. That is the whole idea of inter-Africa. And let's hope that the EFCFTA will help us achieve a whole lot more in that corridor. But this is good news as we begin to see integration. It will bring better transparency, it will bring better regulation. You'll see better product offering and what have you. Because when markets cross each other like this, you bring best practices from Egypt to Nairobi, to Kenya. That's what is going to happen. And again, the Kenyans will also start looking at how to go to other countries up north as well. That's good news.
And perhaps one of the key reasons why we're having the strengthening of the capital market system now across Africa, because these whole investors will also need an entry route as well as an exit route when the time comes. Thank you very much. We can't thank you enough, Bosin, for making this to happen again on Frontier Opening Bell this morning. Thank you for being here. Bosin Omofaye is our executive editor here at Frontier Africa Reports. And I'm Temple Ashaju. Thank you for being a part of the show this morning. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.